All right, welcome to the Crow Discovery Project. I've been out filming chemtrails a lot. Today they are out there just pummeling us at super, super duper high altitude. If I went out there with my strongest lens, these planes are so high they would look like small dots. Anyhow, this was 2 days ago. It was a beautiful blue sky day. This was sometime just afternoon. Watching all the life around get ready for winter. As I was walking down to the water, checking out these are probably some of the last blooms that we'll see this year. And I was cruising. The sky, as you'll see in a minute, was perfectly blue. And by the end of this clip, you will see what happened over the course of just maybe 3, probably less than 4 hours. So here we go. I'll get down to the water here in a second and load up some of the clips that show you what the sky looked like when I began, and you'll see where it ends up. There's a pattern here that I'm beginning to notice. We see days like this where it is just a beautiful blue sky, but then these guys come. Most people would think these are contrails. These guys are spraying, and you can tell because the quality of the sky takes on a silvery kind of reflective appearance. And even when we see these short little trails, and you got to realize that guy is so high that trail is probably, I don't know, 2-3 miles long, maybe, I don't know, maybe not quite that long. But when you zoom in on them, you can tell that's a longer trail than it appears from the distance you're looking. Here's some shots that show just how blue and beautiful the sky is, though it does have that silvery kind of reflective quality to it from non-persistent chemtrails. I've been monitoring the water, and what I've noticed is those little shells everywhere, those are slipper shells. I suppose it's possible that the onshore breezes that we've had have pulled some of these back into the water, but it looks to me, I mean, there's no crabs, you don't see anything living. It used to be we'd go down there and there'd be all kinds of stuff to see. But what I am noticing is there's a lot of dead shells, no crabs. Here's a vulture. I think this is a vulture that I filmed. That's about a 6-foot wingspan. Even the juveniles come around and they're every bit as big. Some of the older males, I believe, I'm not sure about that. Probably the males have just massive, massive wingspans. Anyhow, while I was down at the water, you can still kind of see the silvery reflective quality, but blue sky, these guys start in. These are kind of semi-persistent chemtrails. It takes a while for them to fan out, and here's a shot of the sun to show that it's not completely mucked up. This is an interesting plane. He was behind trees spraying and he turned off. If you look very carefully, you will see residual spray clean out of his sprayers behind him. I had to wait a while before he came out from behind the trees. By the time I was shooting him, the spray was off, but then as I went through the images, I noticed there's residual spray coming off him. Now we're starting to get to the higher altitude planes. This is with my telephoto with a doubler. It doesn't look like it's shot on the same day because I'm always cranking open or close the aperture depending on what I'm filming, trying to, be able to see more things when you're shooting a pure blue sky. But you can already see in the background there, all those other planes that I was shooting are leaving this debris behind. The quality of a pure blue sky is going away. This shot starts out a little overexposed, but I crank it down here in a second. You'll be able to see a bit better. Here we go. Here's the cut, crank it down. Now you can see all the debris building up in the sky from these chem planes, one after the other. Almost all at high altitude, which is what they're doing out there today. I stood out there for 30 minutes. There was close to 10 very high altitude planes, all on the same trajectory, going north of me and south of me. Here I've cranked down the aperture a bit to try to see if I can pick up some of the background stuff building up in the sky. At this point, maybe a couple hours has gone by. And here in the next few clips, you'll see as it's getting to be, 4:30 in the afternoon, and the sky is a complete mess from where we started at the beginning of this clip. You can see how quickly that chemtrail is dissipating, and you can see the quality of how it looks as it dissipates. They spray different things. People who pay attention will notice things like this. It's not worth really explaining to people that don't pay attention. Then you have trails like this that just they linger. They don't dissipate in the same way. In my view, they're mixing two different substances. And there we are. Here we're coming up to roughly 4:30 in the afternoon, and the entire sky is getting these reflective rainbows in the chem debris. There's no portion of the sky that is blue anymore. I'll let this run for a minute. I'm cranking through aperture settings to see if I can pick up, the rainbow or anything else better. That's the sun. You saw the earlier shot of the sun. Now look at it. It's a complete chemtrail haze. Crank down the aperture so that you can see. It's hard to imagine more people are not catching on to what's going on here. There is an absolute pattern here on the East Coast that I'm now recognizing. On days where it starts out to be a beautiful day, it's a pure blue sky, and then they start up. But they generally start up with the non-persistent trails and then follow up with the high-altitude plains, and we end up with a day like this where the entire sky is smudged out. And how people walk through a day and do not understand that when they left in the morning, it was a beautiful blue sky, and when they got home in the evening, it looked like this. I don't understand that they don't see what's going on here. I mean, look at this. Here's one of the really high altitude planes. I've got a super powerful telephoto lens with a doubler on for this shot. It's a little jiggly because it's a handheld shot. But these are the guys that are out there right now at this altitude, way the heck up there, one after the other, trashing the sky today. When I got up this morning, it was a pure blue sky. So in a minute here, I'll go back to show you where we started in the beginning of this clip, just to refresh your memory. The whole sky is around the sun is a smudgy mess, but as you can see here, if I crank the aperture up a little bit, maybe I will. There, you can start to see how everything is background haze from the dispersing chemtrails. And almost there, we'll load up the clip that shows where we started at roughly 12:30 in the afternoon or 1 o'clock, something like that. Here, there's actually a plane in the center there that I will zoom on. And even here, this is not a pure blue sky. It has that silvery, shiny effect from the non-persistent chem planes constantly spraying. So at this point, this guy's got to be thinking, man, people suck, to be blunt about it. But anyhow, my next podcast is going to be about 9/11. I hope folks will come around to check it out. It should be quite an episode. I will be out filming the moon if I am able. For the last week, every night we've been chemmed just to hell, and this is a moon I really want to be filming right now. As a matter of fact, anyone who is out there shooting and has the ability to easily shoot, try to catch the moon from now until into next month. Good time to do so. Anyhow, there it is. Cheers.